Breakthrough is very much the brainchild of Val Strong, so I've come to meet her to find out a bit more about it and what the history of Breakthrough is. Hello, Val.
Hi, Carolyn.
Now, you seem to have been in the dog world for a really, really long time. How did you get started?
Dogs, cats and horses have always played a very great part in my life. I went on to study as a medical scientist, but having trained my own dogs, I decided that a career in canine behaviour and training was the way I wanted to go. I went to the University of Southampton and studied with them and gained my MSc, which was studying the effects of diet on behaviour of dogs. That was the start of the career into Breakthrough. However, in my earlier times, I'd spent a lot of time with John Fisher. Sadly, he's no longer with us. And we had a discussion about changing dogs' behaviour by reducing protein levels. And I actually challenged John about this, because I said, I don't think that's anything to do with it. I think it's raising the carbohydrate levels so that key neurotransmitters that calm and modulate mood are available as and when needed. Nutrition has always been part of my life. I grew up with my aunt and uncle on a farm where the farmer was absolutely dedicated to ensuring that not only did he feed the appropriate foods for development, but also to ensure that his cows were happy. And I know that sounds a silly thing to say, but he'd recognised emotions can affect the yield of milk and the general behaviour of his animals, and so therefore nutrition has always been at the back of my mind.
So how does that play out in dogs?
In dogs, behaviour, we always think about E numbers and caffeine and things like that in human behaviour, but the very same thing applies to dogs. When they are highly aroused or denied something that they want, that can have a negative effect on their general mood state, so their mood drops. So they can be more reactive and emotionally reactive to things around them. For example, if you're having a really bad day, your alarm's not gone off, you've missed your train, you're late for an important meeting, and then the meeting doesn't go well. You get home, all right, and there's no milk in the fridge for your cup of tea, and you go berserk. Because your mood is so low, your emotional response is made greater. And dogs are just the same. Some foods suit dogs, some other foods suit different dogs. But by being able to create a formula that can allow the mind, the brain, to receive the appropriate nutrition and neurotransmitters at the right time, we can stabilise mood and reduce reactivity.
So how did you first start off with that?
My initial thoughts were when I was talking to John Fisher and we talked about the carbohydrates versus protein. We came to a decision where I would look into nutrition in greater detail, and there was a diet made that is fondly known as Val's diet, okay, or Val's serotonin diet. Basically, it was to feed good quality dry food morning and evening. To that, add some vitamin B6, because vitamin B6 is a key player in neurotransmitter development. But 3 hours after each meal, you would feed a carbohydrate load. The reason for that is because carbohydrate load actually then increases insulin production, which then allows the key precursors for serotonin and noradrenaline and adrenaline to get into the brain effectively.
So what do these neurotransmitters actually do? I mean, what's the point of them?
Neurotransmitters, we all need serotonin. Serotonin is the feel-good neurotransmitter. Dopamine is the reward chemistry. So people who are highly addicted to things are raising their dopamine levels. Noradrenaline is what you have to make you attend to your environment. So you need all of those neurotransmitters. You need to be able to see what's happening around you. You need to be able to feel what's happening around you. That's noradrenaline. You need to be able to learn and respond to your environment. That's your dopamine. But you need to modulate your responses, and that's serotonin.
Wow, okay. So you really, really can change the way a dog feels by manipulating the diet.
Absolutely. The key thing is that you are manipulating the amino acid content of the diet, because amino acids are the precursors of all our neurotransmitters.
So what sort of problems would you see in dogs who are slightly compromised with regard to that brain chemistry?
Dogs that are reactive, they could be reactive and aggressive, low impulse control, anxiety disorders such as separation-related disorders, and really, just as I say, overreactivity, overexcitability. Those are the things that make dogs very hard to live with. And owners find that the help that's out there, sometimes the behavioural help that's out there, isn't sufficient because you have to change an emotional response. You have to stabilise emotions. You have to modulate moods to be able to get the dog in a new frame of mind so he can actually learn and make informed decisions.
Now, it kind of sounds fairly complicated that you have to give sort of a complete dry dog food, then 3 hours later, and all this vitamin supplement. So is that where Breakthrough came from?
That's precisely where Breakthrough came from. For the simple reason is that a lot of owners, even though that diet was very effective, Val's diet worked brilliantly, it was impossible for a lot of owners to actually implement. And I used to get lots of emails and phone calls. Is there any way that we can, you can make this easier for our owners? So I am very honoured to actually be able to say that we managed to get the support of a pet food manufacturer to be able to make Breakthrough in a complete form. It was a long, hard trial, and we effectively got Breakthrough, which completely replicates the effects of Val's diet.
So how do you feed Breakthrough?
You feed Breakthrough morning and evening, all right, at the recommended rates. Interestingly, when you're when you have an animal with a behaviour problem, you need behaviour therapy, which obviously kind, fair, and effective methods such as using treats to change behaviour, to change focus, should I say, and therefore we have developed treats that don't affect the unique formula of Breakthrough. Adding other things in would destabilise what we are trying to achieve. So it's very important that the Breakthrough is used in conjunction with Progress treats.
Does it need to be used in conjunction with a professional?
Some owners will see a change in behaviour by just using Breakthrough. And that might be sufficient. It might not be perfect, but it might be sufficient. Some behaviours have become habit formed and also are quite addictive. The dog is now enjoying what he's doing, and so changing or trying to get him to learn a different behaviour is very difficult. By feeding Breakthrough, we normalise his neurotransmitters, we modulate his mood, but the key thing there is we improve his ability to make informed decisions and to learn from them, which is sometimes very hard with an entrenched behaviour problem or an addictive behaviour problem.
So can you tell me, in simple terms, how it actually works? What does Breakthrough do in the brain of a dog?
Breakthrough is designed to increase the levels of serotonin. As I said, serotonin is a mood stabiliser. It's the feel-good neurotransmitter. It enables a dog to learn and learn from his behaviour, and you will see dogs that become more relaxed. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. They become more relaxed and not compromised in their ability to perform normal behaviours. And so simply we are giving the brain the dampening effect of extremes. Does that make sense? So therefore now we have a dog that is not unable to respond. He is, for example, if a dog is very, very reactive, very, very agitated, you will see that he is, if you looked at his EEG, it would be up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Right? By feeding breakthrough, what we get is that smooth undulating effect, so that means that the underpinning of learning can then be started.
So how is that actually working in practice? Have you done studies on breakthrough and how it's actually working in real dogs?
We have done a lot of studies. Originally we trialled 3 diets, one of them being Val's diet or breakthrough, to see which was to compare the effects of breakthrough to other diets. And then once we decided that breakthrough was the way to go, we have had it out in the field with a number of behaviourists who have been using it in conjunction with behaviour therapy, but we also have been trying it at Wood Green Animal Shelter for some of their more difficult dogs, and dogs that have been in the assessment kennels for far too long. Interestingly enough, a lot of the dogs were moved from assessment kennels into rehoming kennels within 3 weeks of being on breakthrough. But as I say, that is more because they are able to learn new behaviours.
Once a dog's gone through this program, once he's been on breakthrough, is that him on breakthrough for the rest of his life?
What you'll find is, for some owners, they will never want to stop feeding breakthrough because they've now got an improved, behaviour and a lovable dog again. Mm-hmm. Although, and we have in our trials seen that at the early stages, if the food is no longer available and they change back to their original food, that the behaviour problem will re-emerge.
Just like having a big cup of coffee in the middle of the day.
That's the one. But ideally, 6 months would allow for new behaviours to be established. Okay, so that they may not need to feed breakthrough forever, but there is no reason why they shouldn't if they wish to.
So how would someone get started?
To get breakthrough or get started on breakthrough, first thing is they observe their dog's behaviour. They identify that there is a problem. Okay, they can either come through to the breakthrough website where there is experienced nutritional and behavioural advice, and order the breakthrough through. So they're going to feed, okay, and then what they're going to do is look at the progression of changing their animal's behaviour. I would always suggest that they do that in conjunction with behavioural support, for the simple reason that behaviourist will be able to identify whether this is whether the emotional stability has been achieved so that the dog can relearn a new behaviour. For some dogs, as I said, it can be quite difficult to change a behaviour because it's become habit formed.
I think it's really exciting. We've suddenly got a new tool that we've never thought about, that we can actually use diet to affect behaviour. It's very exciting.
It is very exciting.